I've lived in this house for years, long enough to know every creak, every groan, every strange little sound it makes at night. So when I first heard the scratching under my bed, I didn't think much of it. Probably rats, or the pipes, or the floor settling something ordinary. But that night, around 2 a.m., the sound was different. Slow, careful, not the quick scurry of a rat. It sounded intentional, like something testing the floor. I pressed my pillow over my ear, thinking it'd stop on its own. It didn't. I knocked on the bed frame. Silence. For a second I thought I was imagining it. Then, scritch, louder, closer. I laughed quietly to myself, the kind of laugh you make when you're trying to mask unease. But deep down, something felt wrong. The next night, 2 a.m., again, same sound. Only this time, it felt like it was waiting for me. I lowered my foot to the floor. The scratching stopped. I froze. Then, right beneath me, my chest tightened as I turned on my phone's flashlight and aimed it under the bed. Nothing, just dust and darkness. But I swear, something was there, watching. I tried to laugh it off, a shaky, nervous sound that echoed too loudly in the stillness of my room. Okay, come on, it's just rats, I whispered, though even I didn't believe it. Then it happened. Something brushed against my ankle. Not a twitch of the blanket. Not my imagination. Something deliberately touched me. I jolted up, tripped over the side of the bed, and hit the floor hard. Perfect. Just perfect. I didn't sleep another second that night, but the worst part wasn't the noise anymore. It was the feeling. A presence. Like something was in the room with me, watching me breathe. Even when I moved to the couch, that presence followed. By the third night, the jokes were over. I was exhausted, tense, listening for every creak and scratch. My friend said I should just pack up and leave. But this is my house. You don't just abandon your home. So that night, I decided to confront it. I sat up and waited. Right on cue, at 2 a.m., the scratching began. I grabbed my flashlight and knelt down beside the bed. The weak beam carved a narrow path through the dark, catching the edges of furniture, dust hanging in the air like snow. At first, nothing. Then I saw it. A hole. Small, maybe the size of my fist, carved into the floorboards. The wood around it looked splintered, as if someone had dug it out with their bare hands. I didn't remember that hole being there before. My heart pounded so loud I could hear it in my ears. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but I leaned closer anyway. "Hello?" I whispered. Something moved. A twitch. A subtle shift in the darkness. Then a shape. Something reached out, hooked what looked like a hand or a paw onto the edge of the hole, and pulled itself back in before I could react. I yelped, stumbled backward, and my flashlight swung wildly, slicing the shadows. The hole was empty again. But I knew what I'd felt the night before. That touch wasn't my imagination. The next morning, I called pest control. The guy showed up like he'd seen it all before, toolbox clanging, wearing that careless grin. "Probably just mice," he said. He crouched down, aimed his flashlight under the bed. Dust floated in the narrow beam. Shadows shifted, but there was nothing. No hole, no scratching, no sign of anything. He straightened up, frowning slightly, scratching the back of his neck. "Strange," he muttered. "Yeah, strange didn't even begin to cover it." "Well, that's weird," he muttered. I let out a nervous laugh. "Yeah, right. Totally normal," I said, though a chill ran straight down my spine and I didn't sleep for the rest of that day. I couldn't shake the feeling that it was watching, waiting, and I swear, sometimes I could feel it just under the floorboards, breathing. The house didn't feel like my house anymore. I can't really explain it, but it was like I wasn't alone. Like the air wasn't mine. The walls weren't mine. Even the creaks had changed. You know when a place just feels different? Not louder, not quieter, just wrong. It felt like I was sharing it with something. And if I didn't watch my step, it'd be in charge, not me. A few hours later, just when I started convincing myself I'd imagined everything, it started again. That scratching. Only this time, it didn't sound like rats. No, there was this weird rhythm to it. I checked the clock on my phone. Not even 6 p.m. Daylight was still leaking through the blinds. And yet, it felt like midnight in there. The sound crawled across the floorboards, then up the wall, then behind me. I spun around so fast my neck cracked. Nothing. But the sound kept moving like it was circling me, and I swear I could feel it brushing the back of my legs. My chest started tightening. My brain was saying calm down, but my body was already halfway into panic mode. And then, it got loud. I mean everywhere. The walls, the ceiling, under my feet, like the whole house was breathing with it. My ears rang. I couldn't tell where it was coming from anymore. I stumbled toward the living room, trying to catch my breath. I kept thinking, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. The living room light flickered as I stepped in. Once, twice, then it just died. The whole room fell into this thick, orange twilight from the streetlights outside. I could still see enough to make out the furniture, my couch, the little lamp, the coffee table. Their shadows stretched across the floor. But then I noticed something. Off. There was an extra shadow. I counted again. Couch, lamp, table, me. And one more. It wasn't shaped like anything in the room. It looked like a person. Tall, wide shoulders, arms way too long, almost reaching the floor. And the head god, the head it tilted to the side, like it was studying me. I checked the window, thinking someone was outside casting it, but there was no one there. No movement, no car lights, nothing. Just this shape on the floor that shouldn't have existed. My eyes started watering. Not from crying, it was the air. It stank again. That same wet metal smell. And then, the face. It wasn't really a face. I mean, it had skin, I guess, but it was all wrong, like someone had tried to put a mask over something that shouldn't have a face. And right there, in the reflection of the dark window, it turned its head slowly toward me. That's when I realized. It wasn't standing by the window. It was in the reflection. I couldn't breathe. My heart was pounding so hard I swear it drowned out the scratching. And then its mouth twitched, like it wanted to smile but didn't know how. I blinked just once, and it was gone. But the shadow on the floor stayed. That's when I knew whatever was in my house, it didn't just live under the floorboards anymore. It was everywhere. In the walls, in the shadows, in the air itself. My house didn't feel like mine. It felt like I was the intruder now. And for the first time, I actually thought about leaving. Not for a night, not just to clear my head, but for good. I didn't care about the rent, or the furniture, or any of it. I just wanted out. I didn't even wait for sunrise. I just knew. Whatever that thing was, it wasn't done with me. I could feel it. It was surely going to back stronger. My gut was screaming at me to get out before it got worse, and for once, I actually listened. I threw on every light in the house, but it didn't help. The air thickened, burning my throat. My ears popped. I didn't think. I ran. The doorknob was ice cold, keys slipping in my shaking hands. I slammed the door behind me, jumped into the car, heart pounding louder than the engine. No shoes. No heater, just escape. The new apartment was small and quiet. White walls. No shadows. No whispers. I finally breathed again. Days passed. Peaceful. Then, one night, I woke to a crushing weight on my chest. My skin prickled. My heart froze. That same cold presence hovered behind me. It had never left.